Hello! If you're watching this video, it means you've written your best man speech. You've practiced it and you're ready for the big day. Or are you? Don't worry, if you're still feeling nervous, in this video, I'm going to give you 6 essential things to do on the wedding day. So by the time you give your speech, you feel confident and focused. First of all, and this is probably the most important point, enjoy yourself. It's the big day, which means you're there to celebrate the couple, enjoy some good food, and catch up with friends. Not to worry about your speech from the second you arrive. I know what it's like when you're trying to have a conversation, but instead of listening, you're actually just running through your lines in your head for the billionth time, which only stresses you out even more. Remember, by this point, you know your speech inside out. You've even got your notes to lean back on, so you don't need to do that. But if it makes you feel better, then my advice would be to do it just before the speeches start. Go get some fresh air, go to the bathroom, and take one last look at your notes. Otherwise, relax and have a good time. Secondly, don't get drunk. Now, there's nothing wrong with having one drink to take the edge off. I'd even recommend it, but only if you can handle it. Be honest. If you're a lightweight, stick to the soft drinks until after your speech. And during your speech, have a glass of water handy, which you can sip on in case your throat dries up. Thirdly, listen to the other speeches. Make sure you're paying attention and not just going through your lines in your head. Because you never know. There may be something that you want to spontaneously respond to or make a joke about in your speech. And speaking of jokes, it can be that someone else steals your joke or your anecdote. But if that happens, don't worry, you've got options. If it's just a little joke, you can probably do without it. Or keep it in and people will probably still laugh. And hey, even if they don't, you can make a joke about that. You can say, "Oh, I knew Dave would steal all my jokes," or "Oh, I knew I should have done my speech first." Something like that. Or if they happen to steal a longer anecdote, then honestly, you probably want to skip that part of your speech, if you can, without the whole thing falling apart. And if you can't, so be it. Honestly, what does it really matter anyway? Remember, in the last video, you wrote down 3 things which, in comparison, make your speech feel tiny and insignificant. So this would be the perfect time to remember those 3 things and to keep things in perspective. Okay, so that's before the speech. Now let's talk about the speech itself. Imagine you've just been passed the mic or invited up to the podium and you're about to begin. Chances are people will be cheering you, they'll be applauding you before you've even opened your mouth. So take a few seconds to enjoy that, smile, and then begin. Now, when you're nervous, there's a tendency to rush, which brings me on to the 4th point: take your time. As I said in my previous video, stay calm, speak at a natural, relaxed pace, just the way you practiced it. Take pauses, look around the room, breathe, sip your water. So all these are great ways of not only staying calm, but if you've got cue cards, it actually gives you more time to remember your next line. And if your mind does go blank, it can happen. My advice is just skip that part and go on to your next card. Chances are people won't even notice anyway, because it's only you who knows your speech in that much detail. Now, during your speech, people are people, and not everyone will be paying attention. So you might see people on their phones, tending to their kids. Whatever it is, Don't get distracted. Don't take it personally. Just carry on. And hey, there's always at least one person who's looking at you and smiling the whole time, besides the bride and groom, of course. So step 5, focus on the smiling people. Yes, of course, look around the room as well. But if you stay focused on them, you won't get distracted. And by focus, I mean make eye contact. And of course, smile back. Speaking of smiling, it is an emotional day, so you might also see people crying, which could set you off as well, or the other way around. Which brings me on to the 6th and final point. Let yourself cry. If you do start crying, it's fine. In fact, it can work in your favor, because that way people will emotionally connect to you and your speech even more. Okay, there you go. That was the 3rd and final video, which means you're all set for the wedding. So all that's left to say is good luck with your speech. Not that you'll need it, and remember, enjoy yourself. As always, if you like this video, please hit the like button, and hey, I'd love to know how your speech went. So please do drop me a comment or even send me an email. I'd also love to know from this 3-part video series, what did you find most helpful? What was maybe missing? Or is there anything that you'd change? Okay, thank you so much, and bye for now.